What's up, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Modern Compass. Modern Compass is an app developed for people who love the outdoors, for people who love to stay safe. It's an app developed by my boy Kent. So check them out if you love the outdoors and just want to stay safe when you're out there. Follow them on Instagram at Modern Compass. Also, I wanted to shout out Oatsies. Oatsies is a small business running out of Wilmington, California right now. She makes overnight oats. They're also making hot cocoa bombs for the holidays at the moment, and she is blowing up right now in Wilmington, California. People are driving all the way out from the OC, so check them out at Oatsies_. Follow them on Instagram. What's up? Podcast 43 here, and I'm with a good friend of mine that I've trained with. We have a bunch of mutual friends together, including many professional MMA fighters, some legendary names. And right when I met this guy, we definitely hit it off. We had so many mutual experiences that we've had, and just the creative outlook we had on the unprecedented times that we're in. And we gravitated towards each other and we just literally couldn't stop talking to each other. And so there's so many things that this guy brings to the table. One of the main things is he is a business marketing developer, or he's a business officer.
Business development officer.
Business development officer with the emphasis on marketing. And so let's just get straight into it. My buddy, Jose Rubio.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, no problem. Good to see you, my friend.
You too, man.
Good to see you again, dude. So let's just talk about the first time we met. So, it's funny, like when you meet someone, right, and you have so many mutual friends, it's kind of like, oh, I didn't just meet you. Like, we've been knowing each other.
Yeah, like, damn, how come I hadn't met you before? And you're one of my best friends, John. It's crazy.
Exactly. So I guess I'll start on, like, when I first met those guys. So I was actually invited to train with essentially all your friends one day at UFC Gym in Torrance. And I met all of them, and one of the sweetest guys ever was one of the guys that I worked with just a tiny bit in the cage. It was John Robles. And he gave me a couple pointers. We moved around a little bit, and he just welcomed me with open arms. And so that's actually when I met Christos Giagos, and that is actually
he was younger there too. He's like in his mid-20s probably.
Yeah. And so I met Christos there, and now I train with Christos on a regular basis. He's essentially like one of the guys I go to in regards to striking. He's one of my striking coaches. And so we have all these mutual friends, and we meet that day, and we were supposed to run 10 miles. And murder, awful. I'm not a runner, but I was just like, and I remember the first
you were that day.
Yeah, I know, right? One thing you told me before that was, and this is when I knew I liked you, bro, is when you I was like, man, it's early. I'm not a runner, right? And you were like, man, you know what? Just run whatever you can, because not everyone is up on a Sunday morning at 7 a.m. running their ass off.
You're already winning, dude.
Exactly. So I was like, man, this guy's someone like that. I like this guy's energy. I need in my life. And, man, we just hit it off since.
Yeah, man.
And I'm super excited to have you on. So a few things I wanted to get to is just the knowledge and the advice that you give to people in regards to finances.
Yeah.
And one thing that you've done, and big things that you've accomplished, is putting and giving, or not necessarily putting, but giving this knowledge to professional athletes. UFC fighters, which is, one thing that, we both do. We train.
Yep.
And what really got you into it? When did you realize that, oh, wow, like these athletes need financial
You know what it
knowledge?
was, bro? I'll be honest with you, man. I was living in LA, working for Wells Fargo. I was engaged, and it was Wachovia that got bought by Wells Fargo. I was managing one of the branches in Redondo. And when we got bought by Wells Fargo, my boss was like, I'm moving back to New York. He goes, because when you go through mergers, they take care of their own people. So I'm gonna go back to New York. Gets there, he's like, hey, you should come down here, man. I'll promote you. You gotta just start hustling. I'm like, say less, bro. I'll do it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm engaged. I don't know. And then one day I was hitting my numbers. I'm sitting in my office. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm not being challenged. I'm bored. And then I called him up. I'm like, this is how much I want. He's like, done.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm down. I didn't talk to my chick or nothing. And I talked to her, and then she ended up moving out there with me, and I moved out there.
Nice.
And around that time, John was trying out for the Ultimate Fighter, and Clay Guida, one of our buddies, one of my close friends.
Let's give a quick before you get into it. John Robles, like, you know, he's obviously a professional, was a professional MMA fighter.
Yep.
And he's one of your best friends.
I've known since the 9th grade.
Yeah, exactly. So that's who John Robles is.
That's who John Robles is.
Everyone, I don't want people to.
One of my best friends.
Okay, cool. I don't want people to be like, who's John?
Yeah, right.
But
yeah. Who is that guy?
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. So he was trying out for the Ultimate Fighter. I was living in New York, and I had no idea that he was trying out for the Ultimate Fighter because you got to keep stuff quiet, you know, when you're doing stuff like that. And then Clay was out there with him, and he made it pretty far, man. And then
Clay Guida, the caveman.
Yep, Clay Guida, one of our friends. And then ended up getting promoted at work. I became a district manager, and then I just things happened with my relationship, and I ended up moving back to LA. And him and I ended up hanging out again, and that's when he started fighting. And John Robles started fighting, and we moved in together. I was always at his house. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to live. I was crashing with my parents, and then we just moved in together. And then he saw me working at the bank, and I was fluffy, bro. I was like 210 pounds, running a branch, just not working out, just working.
Gotcha.
And I see him hustling, working at the beach, trying to make it, you know. And then he ended up making it, but like before that, just that whole process, and then just seeing like opportunities, just with me helping business customers when they come in and open a business account. I'm like, dude, you got to separate your stuff, kind of deal. So it was just more of me giving him like, hey man, you should probably do this, and just left it alone. I'm very like, I'm not pushy, man. I'm just here to help you, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So everything grew from that. And John met Clay. I met Clay through John.
Okay.
John was working at Patrick Malloy's, and he was serving, and he was fighting, and we met this random dude, Billy Davidson, which is one of my closest friends that happened to go to middle school with Clay.
Okay.
He moved out here, and so they started kind of, Clay introduced him or whatever, and then they started hanging out, and Clay became his like mentor. You know what I mean? And then we just became close, and just things happened where I work at the bank, and just it was very organic. Where they had a problem, they would call me, and I would, hey, you should just do this.
Okay.
You should just do this, and then just people started knowing like, oh man, you should go to Jose for this, and then.
Cool.
Yeah.
What made you've been in the banking industry or financial industry for such a long time? What made you want to get into it? Like, because you started right after high school, correct?
Yeah, man. I hate school, bro. I can't like turn to page, forget it. I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
turn to page, fuck off.
Yeah, bro. I cheated on my driving. I do. It's fun.
Wow,
it's easy.
Yeah. It's fun to cheat.
Yeah. I just got out of high school, and then I worked at McDonald's, CVS, and I saw this. This is how I got into baking. Swear to God. There was this cashier, this chick that worked at McDonald's, and her boyfriend worked at CVS with me. She was one of the cooks, right? And her boyfriend he spoke English, but he had one of those like those like cow balls in the back of the truck kind of deal, the lassos and shit, like those like Mexican cars. I'm like,
got you.
I'm like, what do you do? He's all, I work at Wells Fargo. I'm a teller. I'm like, damn, if this fool can do it. You know, and I'm like, hey, what did you do? He's like, oh, you just got to call this number or whatever. I became a teller at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
Just through that, and then just kind of like everything just kind of circulated from there, and then just started getting promoted, and then they wouldn't work my school schedule, so I quit. Became an area manager at like a sports company.
Okay.
At 19.
Wow.
Running like 13 stores. Just I knew how to talk to people, so I just kind of learned from there, and then ended up going back to banking as a personal banker, and that's just kind of like how I blew up, where I just got promoted to a branch manager. And I told my dad, like, I can't go to college. I don't see I personally don't see me spending $100,000 to get a college degree that doesn't guarantee me even 50% of that, right? If you're going to be a doctor or like a trade, something like with a trade, for sure. It's just my own personal opinion. You know what I mean? So I doubled down on just my skill sets, just with how I can.
That's huge. That's blowing up right now, right? People are saying that, really, if you are going to go to college, really, really, really think about it.
Bro, like I hire people. Like, I'll give you an example. Like I had this, when I was living in New York, I had a opening for a teller, and this guy came in, sharp, dressed, resume, nice, Wells Fargo. I mean, he worked at Bank of America. You could tell he was leveraging jobs to get an increase. Guy next to him, his name was Raul Chardon. I remember him. I won't forget him. Big dude, looked like he borrowed the jacket from like his neighbor or something. Played baseball for the Mets, and he messed up his elbow, so he couldn't play ball anymore. Interviews, and he's like, "Look, man, I know team, I know how to work with people and all about goals, but I don't just tell me what to do and I'll do it. That's all I needed to hear.
Wow.
So I hired him.
Over the guy with the experience.
Yes. My boss goes, if he messes up, it's on you. If he looks good, then we're good.
Okay.
Right? I said, look, when customers come to the window, just say this. It's called match stock. Just be cool with them. Talk to them and just say this, whatever. He did it. Promoted him to a personal banker. I ended up getting promoted. I leave. Fast forward, I moved back to LA. I'm working at Chase in Manhattan Beach. I get a phone call 3 years later. Asks for me. I'm like, I don't know who you are. And he's like, yeah, I remember you used to be my whatever. He ended up being a branch manager.
Whoa.
After I left, bro, just by giving somebody a shot of based on like their desire to want to do better. And bro, you can make 6 figures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, my cousin went to Stanford. He's a vice principal. Like, he's killing it. You know what I mean? But I mean, they have debt, and I'm all about the bottom line, man. Like, and I learned the financial part of it without going to school. I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got put myself in a situation to get lucky, I think, but I worked hard.
What do you mean you put yourself in a situation?
Because I doubled down on my skill set. Like, I could be silly. Ask my friends, bro. Like, John, I'm silly, but when it comes to banking and finance, this is all I have, kind of deal. I didn't go to college. I'm like, this is my college, because I don't have to sit there and read a book or whatever.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So I doubled down on that. I'm like, when I was at Chase, bro, like I was there for like a month, like it's school. I had to present, like, here's the situation, and there's like the regional VPs were there. You got to like present. Cool. If I can present like with my body as opposed to sitting there and reading, bro, like I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people don't say. A lot of people say like, you know, figure it out. Like just get your degree for the sake of it.
Right.
Like just have something to fall back on. And you know, people can make the argument that times have changed, and you kind of need. They say, you know, the college degree is the new high school diploma, right? Or like the master's degree is the new bachelor's degree.
I see it,
and
dude.
It's like, what do you mean you see it? Like
I see it with people that I hire. They have degrees, and they're not using them, and they pay them off, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I feel like some of the education is outdated, and like.
Well, yeah. So that's what I definitely want to get into that.
Think about this. Why is it that in high school they have wood shop, ceramics, home ec, which half of the girls can't cook, so what the hell were they doing, right? I'm saying, bro, like, and why don't they have a class on like what's the difference, like financial literacy, a difference in a credit card and debit card?
That's exactly what I was gonna get into.
You know what I'm saying? Like elderly abuse, that shit's real. Like when people have like family members that are older, they're mentally not stable, and they make them go into the bank and order checkbooks or add them to the account, or little kids that don't know the difference when they ask their mom for $20 when their mom's on welfare or EBT cards and stuff like that, you know? So I've worked in mass market areas and very affluent areas, like from Queens to Beverly Hills. So I've seen both. Yeah. Helping like celebrities and athletes. Spike Lee was one of my clients in New York. To like come in an angle with people breaking into the ATM and like their accounts are overdrawn. Yeah. So when you see both scopes, and then you have friends that aren't bad like that, but they have different tendencies. So let me ask you. I want you to elaborate on that. What patterns did you see from each demographic? And so, like for example, the people who are extremely affluent and rich, did you notice what did they do with their money compared to people who weren't affluent and poor and, you know, overdrawn bank accounts? Like, is there a certain pattern that you saw in each demographic, or is there something like what were the rich people doing with their money and what were the poor people doing with their money? Like people think that like when people have money, they're just frugal and they save. That's not the case. A lot of clients are just, they have like golden spoon in their mouth. They have like trust funds or whatever. Okay. And I've seen it. They come in and they have tons of money, but they have money coming in every month, $7,000 every month. Okay. And they just spend, and you can put them in the affluent area on paper, right? But how do they get that money? So you got to break it down to like, who are they? What do they do? How long have they been doing it? And how do they acquire their wealth? Got you. Because if you don't break it down like that, then you really can't, because you could just blanket it and say, and there's people that are in the mass market minorities where they work really hard, they have good credit, and they have the big misconception that, oh, just because they live in freaking Huntington Park that they don't have. Bro, like those houses are worth $500,000 just because it's in LA. 800 FICOs. Dude's working a mechanic shop but has clean debt and has money saved. And it could be the opposite as well, but people don't know the other part of it. Yeah. I saw something. I saw something today where it's like you can make $350,000 a year, but if you're spending $400,000, like you're broke. Do you know where the term Black Friday came from? Do you know why they call it Black Friday? I've heard something in regards to it, but no, you gotta elaborate on me. So in finance, it's all off your P&L, your profit and your loss, right? So when you're in the black, like let's say you have $1,000 cash. No, let's make it 100 grand. Like, damn, you're balling. You have 100 grand, but you have 50 grand in credit card debt. You're in the black 50 grand, right? If you have 100 grand cash in your checking account, but you owe 150, you're in the red $50,000. So you gotta look at it as a whole. People think just because you have that in your checking account, yeah, bro. But if you owe all this other debt, your net is this. So Black Friday is like you're making money because you're saving money.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
So you're in the black. When you're in the red, that means you're negative.
Oh.
So they call it Black Friday because in the stock market and profit and loss, it's like you're in the black. That means you're positive. So if you don't really have any debt and you have $80, 80,000 in your checking account, then you're in the black 80 grand. But if you owe 70, you really only have 20.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
What? I want to get into why they don't teach you this in school. And first of all, let me just say it's a tragedy that these basic life skills are not taught
predatory
to
lending
kids.
in college, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and then we can get into as to why they're not teaching that to you. So, number one, it's fucked up that they don't do it, right? Number two, why do you think that this, even after high school, this isn't sold to people? I have like my opinion on it, but I want to hear yours before.
Bro, like,
why do you think? Why, like, it's almost as if the society, at least in America, like, wants to keep you broke.
Well, think of it like this, man. Like, even like the pharmaceutical industry, right?
Yeah.
That's its own entity.
Yeah.
But the behaviors, look at the behaviors.
They're like identical almost, right?
Okay, so if you look at financial literacy, think about that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you get out of college. I mean, you get out of high school, you go to college. You don't have a job, and if you do, it's part-time. You're not making much money. Bro, I used to work at a bank, Western Financial Bank, where we'd go into Long Beach College, put a Tenepe, and offer credit cards to students. I didn't even know what I was doing, bro.
Oh, you were one of those.
Bro, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I work at a bank. Oh, I need to get credit cards. Okay, cool. So I've been from the bottom there to so I understand it, man. You know, and like, these kids are gonna max out. I was one of them. I maxed out my credit cards.
Yeah.
You know, and then you see how that's not fair. You're setting them up for failure, and they get in debt from the beginning. As opposed to like when you go to, if you're in high school saying, hey man, like this is a debit card, this is a credit card, this is how your credit can hurt you and help you. This is what your credit report looks like. When you get a house, this is what you need. Debt to income ratios, loan to values, like renting versus buying. Like, cooking, bro, like ceramics. What are we doing?
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So it's deep, and I'm not gonna get philosophical here, but I feel like
I don't
know the answer, but I know that there definitely is something's up, but it's just hidden because there's money being made. Because I think it, in a way, it's good. It's sorry to say because it stimulates the economy a little bit.
Exactly.
It trickles down, so it's tough, man.
You don't think it's fucked up that keeping? I'll just say Americans. Like, you don't think it's fucked up that keeping Americans broke is good for the economy?
Say it again?
Like, you don't think that keeping the average citizen ignorant and broke, stimulating the economy is unsettling?
Because they're gullible, you know, and they just go with what people say.
But they're gullible for good reason, right?
Yes.
They're not taught any of this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And why aren't they taught? So, like, for me, like, getting into, like, the last 5 years of my career when I was doing a bunch of stuff and did, like, money laundering investigations as a contractor and all that, and now going on working with where I am now. I work at Sky One Federal Credit Union. I'm a business development officer, work with the marketing department, and creating, like, awareness for people's nonprofits and, like, giving back to the community and doing, we need to get credits for 501c, you know, just so we're giving back to the community. So I go to like senior citizens homes.
Okay.
And I talk to, and I do presentations for, like, the elderlies and let them know, like, hey, like, this is, like, remedial, bro. Like, you know how it goes back to you being a baby?
Yeah.
Like that. Like, hey, this is your account. Do you know how many accounts you have? Just to see where they're at mentally. To first graders. Hey, do you know when you ask your mom for $20, do you know what that means? If this costs this, when you ask for that. To, like, high school, teenagers. Mm-hmm. To when they get into college and they're, like, I did a secured credit card. Like, how is my daughter going to get credit if nobody gives her credit? So if you don't have any credit, we'll give you $500 you give us $500 out of your pocket, we'll give you a credit card secured by your money. And the credit report, I call the credit report like a girl. It reacts negative, neutral, it stays the same depending on what you do to it. If you don't do anything to the credit report, it gets mad like a girl. Oh, you're ignoring me, and your credit score goes down. If you do good by it and you have positive payments every single month, every month it refreshes. I think every quarter it refreshes. Your credit score goes up. So when you get a secured credit card, you start getting credit. So all those little things that parents should know to teach their kids right when they get out of high school. I don't have any kids, bro. If I do, my kid's gonna have a 700 FICO at like 17, bro, and it's possible.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, for sure. It's so interesting, this concept of credit too, right? And how like you said, when you went out onto the colleges, and they're like, when you're showing these credit cards to these kids, and because they're gonna max them out because they don't have the knowledge. I want to get into the aspect of like credit and how important it is, and what can the average person do. Like let's just say their credit is a little not the best, right? What are some immediate things a person can do to be like, to jumpstart it, or just to step in the right direction? What's the first thing one could do? Like let's just say someone's in a pretty messed up situation.
Talk to me. No, I'm not. No, I'm just somebody. The thing is, it's like when you go to the doctor, man. Your car, your teeth, everything. You got to have a needs assessment. I got to look at your credit report and ask you questions and see where you're at. And that's what I do with people. Even like now that I'm working with a lot of the gyms, helping all these fighters, and like my other buddy works for Golden Boy, and helping some of those dudes. Like they're so good at their craft, and they're like, I know when somebody's in camp, bro, they're dialed in. Yeah, dude. Right?
Yeah.
And you need somebody that is going to help you not think about opening up an LLC to separate your personal from your business. If you're a pretty marquee name, like you have merchandise, okay, how are you setting that up?
Yeah.
You're in camp, bro. You're trying to cut weight.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter, bro. Like, I'm sponsored by Love Handles, but I live with a fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I see it, and it was a really cool experience being able to see that and being a part of that. And then that's what kind of got me to going back to your point, is where, like, I saw how he was doing stuff every day and his body would change. Because, like, when you're at a camp, you eat more, you gain weight. And John was always pretty much in shape, but, like, out of fight camp, you start, you have fun in your fight. But then he's all right, time to get settled down. And I would see his transformation every time, and I'm like, damn, man, like, it works.
Yeah.
So then I started doing it. And then I started helping him out with his business stuff, and we just both kind of started helping each other out.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, when did you so would you say John was the person who sparked your I guess your drive to
everything,
like help fight? Okay.
It all starts with John.
Okay, gotcha.
Like he pushed me, bro. Like I was like, man, one day I woke up one morning, I'm like, damn, I'm just tired of like being out of shape, man. You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? I almost felt like if it's like, there's a quote by Socrates, I think it's Socrates, goes like, it'll be a shame for a human to live their entire life and not reaching the max capacity of their body or something around those lines.
Yeah, their physical,
Right? And I, like, damn, like, for real, So then I started running one lap, and then I said, let me do a mile. I did a mile every day, and then John goes, well, you're used to that now. Yeah. So you just, like, Christos, Clay, all these guys that have a different mentality. So I was around that kind of deal, where he wasn't clapping and praising me because I ran a mile. And then boom, boom, boom. And then I met my buddy Chris Williams, that he's an actor, and like he was running a marathon, and he's like, let's run a marathon. And then I'm like, we're at a Clipper game. One of my buddies that I went to high school with, Dwayne, his little brother, ended up playing for the Lakers, Darius Morris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay,
it's my boy.
Familiar.
And he got traded to the Clippers, and I took my buddy Chris, and that night, I'm like, I'm down. I enrolled. And that night, I left the Staples Center, went to Hermosa. John was working at Malloy's, and I ran 20 miles that night.
Whoa.
Just to see like if I'm even gonna be able to do this. And I did it like in points of interest. So I ran from Hermosa, and I told myself, all right, dude, just run to Manhattan. And then I got to just run to El Segundo. And then I was already like at 6 miles, and I said, all right, dude, just run 10 miles and run back.
What?
I ran 20, and then John didn't believe me. And then from there, I started running marathons, and that's when John was in camp, and we were just, wow. It was a perfect storm, bro. And I went, and then I incorporated like his business to it. Like how to get people to your fights, sell T-shirts. I helped him sell his tickets, and just scale it where like people love supporting him. You saw, man, he was his first 6 fights, first round, second round knockouts. Like he was in it.
He was a savage, dude.
Like, damn, bro, this is cool. And then John introduced me to like Clay and all these people, and I just built genuine relationships very fluidly. And like a lot of my friends, they come to me, and I keep everything I'm very private, but they come to me for stuff because I've been through a lot. I've been in banking for 22 years almost, bro. Like I'm 39,
One thing that I've heard is when you give someone advice, you have to not only say it a certain way, but it has to you have to be able to relate to the person,
Yeah.
right?
They have
Who
to
gives you
trust
advice,
you.
and you have to trust them. You got to build that relationship.
There's a saying that goes in
And
banking: the customer doesn't care what you know until they know you care. It's corny,
mm,
but
yeah,
I don't care if you went to Yale, bro. If I don't like you,
yeah, exactly.
kick rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So I think I think what people would get from you is like, for example, what I got from you, like before you even try, like before I even knew that you were into banking and financing or like financial stuff like that,
Financial industry, yeah.
like we just established that connection of just like being cool. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it had nothing to do with what we do. It's just,
Exactly. It just
right.
happened, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you have that, you know, that blessing of like, you know, establishing comfort with people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that that helps people, you know, to hear you out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is definitely lacking in the financial community because Kevin Hart was on Joe Rogan and he was saying how like, you know, you can't have like some old rich white guy go into like these hoods and like try to tell these kids to like be better, like with
hey,
their
dude,
finances.
yeah,
like, who are
right.
you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying how like that's why I wanted to go and show like the community that like, okay, I'm from this,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why you should listen to me.
Right.
And like that's why he's doing that, you know. And with fighters, you know, you're the only person. Maybe there's other people. You're the only person that I feel like is going into these gyms and letting them know, like, hey, do this. You know, this will help. You can actually do this. You know, you can. Like whenever like I train with Christos like, yo, I'm doing this with my money. I'm doing this with my money. I'm doing this with my money. I'm like, bro,
Christos, let me tell you, Christos, bro, like before he even got signed by the UFC, like I was like, look, dude, just like you put protein in your body, you gotta put protein in your account.
yeah.
And I set up his business account, and then he's just like John, bro. You tell him once,
Yeah, dude.
it clicks,
Yeah.
and then and then to see where he was then till now, he's so smart with his money, and he's always just hustling, pushing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he allocates his money, diversifies everything, and he's
Yeah.
smart, bro. Like
Yeah, he always says that.
people have a misconception about fighters, bro, but they're the nicest guys.
100%.
They're so smart,
100%.
but they're smart in a lot of areas, and Chris is willing to learn.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan can teach you to play basketball, but if you don't pick up the basketball, it might as well just be me or you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same deal. So like,
No, yeah,
that's
exactly.
kind of what it was, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And it's funny how I think of finances now as like a game. Like it's a game.
Of chess.
It's a game of chess.
Mhm.
You know, like okay, if I do this now, this will happen in the future. If I do this in the future, this will happen. Like now, or like
Yeah.
just stuff like that I think about. Credit, you know, setting up the credit, playing the credit game. Like you know, like okay, I could pay this entire thing off, but
Right.
it's like you know, let me keep this here, just to like stimulate. You know what I'm saying? Like be good to the credit report. You know?
Yeah. Like
Exactly.
it's I think that the thing that with me is like being in banking, and I've gone through a lot, man. I bought a house when I was 22 years old, stated income. I thought I knew everything. I was a personal banker. This guy that ripped me off, I won't say his name, but this dude ripped me off and pretty much said, hey, this family, if you co-sign for them, you can refinance in 2 years.
Oh no.
Or whatever. My dumbass didn't look at market values. Like if they can't get approved now, why would they get approved later?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So then I ended up doing it. I got like $8,000, like $4,000 from the loan office. I thought I was so cool. The name of the street, this is my address, bro. 2765 Genuine Risk Street, Paris, California. Genuine Risk Street. That was the name of the street, bro. I got
What?
yeah, Genuine Risk. That's the name of the street.
That's
That was the name of the house that I bought.
what?
That was my address.
This is a real address?
It's a real address.
Genuine Risk?
2765 Genuine Risk Street, Paris, California.
There's a city called Paris in California?
Yeah, it's in Riverside.
Oh.
Yeah, bro. Even how you said it, that's why the market values dropped. Oh.
What?
Yeah, bro. So bought it for $330. It went down to $90,000. My credit went down to like $500.
Oy.
And did some other bad deals where I got screwed out of a credit card, $50,000. So I know how to my FICO score right now is like 845.
Uh-huh.
It used to be 510.
What'd you do to get it back up?
So I know how to negotiate debt. Like I learned, I got sued by the second mortgage. So I went through all these, just like in life, man. When you go through different experiences like that, you see the outcome, the result, and you look at the process. You see how to fix it, right? So now I see it as, damn, I learned all these different things where I can help people fix their credit, bro. Like remove stuff from like all these different skill sets that I have just being in there. Where like if I would get fired from work, I could open up my own business and just helping people fix credit. Like you buy the CRM system, you pay into it, you streamline the process to like send letters to the bureaus, get shit removed from your credit, you make money. You know, so I've gone through all these experiences. So like when people come to me, like I love helping people, bro. It's so cool to be able to like somebody's talking to me about their issues. I'm like, damn, I could fix that and that. You know, and I don't talk because you don't want to come out as salesy or whatever. I don't need any of that. I just help my friends. And my friends say, hey, go to my boy Jose, he'll help you out. You know, it's just fluid, it's organic.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty much do financial needs assessments on people and just help them with whatever they need, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What would you? Okay. What top 5? All right. I'll give you 3 examples, or I'll just give you 2. Right. What if you were to give a high schooler, right, straight out of high school, 18 years old, 5 tips to help them out with their finances? What would you tell them? 5 things.
Open a savings account.
Okay.
If you're working part-time, whatever, save it.
Okay.
Get a printout of a credit card application and go to the bank and have the branch manager explain to you what it means. Go to the source. Like, don't wait on the school. They're not going to do it. So reverse engineer the information. Just go to the schools.
Okay.
Go to the banks.
Okay.
And the bankers will tell you, and they'll sit and show you, and they'll explain it to you.
Okay.
And then they'll understand it. When you go to the bank, open a savings account, and then they'll educate you.
Okay.
Literally, bro, an hour is worth 30 years and debt that's not going to be there. Think about that, bro. A 30-minute conversation to an hour conversation could save you, like, your future. Because, like, what if you have shitty parents that aren't there, they're drug addicts, or you live with your grandma, your aunt? Like, I went to Maricosta, but I lived in Inglewood, bro. So, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, people didn't understand. I was working at McDonald's. I had to catch the bus to play basketball. I played basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, and people don't, like, my friends, they're cool as hell, but, like, they just don't understand what it is to live.
For sure. Absolutely.
It's different, man. Like, you got to make it happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What else would you tell someone?
That's the biggest thing is save your money.
Save your money.
Save your money, bro. It's all cash is key. Save your money.
Got you.
Save your money and also figure out, like, with school, like, what do you really want to do? You know what I mean? Are you going through the motions? Just like what do you want to do with your life? You know, for sure. Start going to school, earn those behaviors, and you're responsible, and you're getting educated. Of course, do all that stuff, but educate yourself in that, bro. Like the basics, like money. And have somebody explain to you what a credit report is. Pretty much what I do. So what you're saying, what would I tell them is what I do already right now. I go to the schools and I talk to the students.
Okay.
All different age groups. There's 4 different. There's what is it? Child, adult, young adult, and adult. Like 4 different age groups. Like, like they're small, they're getting bigger, and they're older.
Yeah.
You talk to all different scenarios, but you just talk to them. You put it in terms to relate to their reality. Okay. Somebody in high school, they're trying to play basketball. You correlate it to their reality. Like, all right, and then it's where they live too, bro. Like, if you're asking me if I'm going to go to Maricosta, status, of course. If I'm going to go to Maricosta, my friends are driving freaking Mercedes-Benz and G-Wagons, bro. And I was catching the bus, and I had a Blazer. It was dope. Yeah. And it was sick, but it was just like whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What advice would you give to someone who's an adult and has made like financial mistakes, and is just in like a fuck ton of debt, and wants to get out and wants to make different choices? Like, what's the first thing you would tell them? And let's just say you run their credit report and it's like not the best. Like, first thing.
Did it today? You start fixing it. You dissect it. So I'll give you an. I'll tell you today. Sure. I spoke to somebody today.
Oh wow. Okay.
And his FICO score was like 412. I didn't even know it went that low, bro.
Wow.
Like, yeah. And I think I even muted the phone. I'm like, wow. No, I'm just kidding. Like, damn, this dude. And it was just 4 items. Like, he went through a divorce. His car loan was 90 days late. He's like, I started paying it already. And he had 2 things that were collections. A DirecTV thing was $180, and another thing was $90. You can negotiate those because collection companies buy those pennies on the dollar. Yeah. If you owe if B of A, you owe B of A $1,000, and you buy, and this collection company buys for $10, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So you negotiate the debt. You get it removed from your credit. You fix your credit. Gotcha. So that's what adults need to do. That they need to speak to subject matter experts with regards to credit to start fixing your credit.
Okay, so like negotiations.
People
stuff.
Overcomplicate things. You know
Explain a negotiation. How does a negotiation work with a collections agency?
I'll give it to my example. Like, I did a bad deal with this dude that stole from me. I took out 50 grand from my American Express credit card. Boom, got ripped off. Sorry for another day, and called. The collection companies kept calling me, kept ignoring it, and then you just negotiate it because they sold it to another company. and I negotiated that 50 grand to 10 grand. I was like, look, I'm gonna go bankrupt. I'll sell my car, but if I go bankrupt, you guys don't get anything. I know you guys didn't pay much for that $50,000 anyway. Boom. So I paid out of my pocket, but I got it removed from my credit.
Okay.
It went away.
Yeah.
So you just have to understand that when it goes to collection companies, they buy at pennies on the dollar. So
yeah.
And they literally have people in cubicles just calling every day.
Yep.
And I guarantee you their incentive plan is based on how much dollars they collect, based on how much they paid the debt from the company. You know what I'm saying? So
like if you buy debt, $1,000 of debt for like $10, it's like you better make.
Bro, when I was living in Sacramento, my boy hit me up. He goes, "Hey, they're trying to sell some debt for like, it was 180 grand worth of debt. They were selling it for 20 grand. So then you get a list of phone numbers, right? And they're like, all right, J. Rubio Consulting, like, we have your debt now, dude. Like, you owe us $1,000. And like, well, I'll give me 900 then. All right, boom. I just paid $12 for that. I just made freaking $875 off one
and
call.
then, oh my goodness, that's so. It's fucked up.
But not really, because you owe that money. No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it's a business because I invested my money into it, so I'm risking that they may not pay me anything. Because I paid 30 grand for accounts that have gone to collections. For people that max out their credit cards, they have the merchandise and they just never pay their bills.
Yeah,
that's not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay as well. But you don't think that making it a business to like.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. So
you know what I'm saying, like,
yeah,
like okay, like you owe me $10,000 and I bought your debt for $100. It's like now it's like okay, now I'm gonna have you repay.
But at that point, the reason I disagree with you is because it's like when you own a dealership, right? You're gonna go to an auction. I'm gonna buy cars that are like
just part of the
$1,000. I'm gonna sell this Honda Civic for $9,000. Do you think that's right? Cash is cash, bro. Like money's money. Like. Just because it's your credit, it's more personal because it's financial.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's money in, money out, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it goes both ways. So it's a business. It is kind of tricky because it feels like you're making money off of people's bad decisions. But, I mean, people have different businesses behind the scenes that nobody really knows about. Nobody talks about it, you know, so.
Yeah, it really is a game of chess,
It's a game of chess, man. So then my friends around me, I would help them with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I'm going to help them. And I see my boys, like, in camps, hustling. I just fell in love. I fell in love with just, when I started getting in shape, I fell in love with just the sport of MMA, man. Like, like, I'm not a fighter at all, bro. Like, obviously, right? But, like, being around it and being behind the scenes of it and just my friends exposing me to all of that stuff is pretty cool.
I feel like it resonates with finances a little bit because it's kind of like you take full ownership and responsibility for, like, yourself.
Yes.
In the sport, it's not like there's no teammates. No one comes to save you. It's kind of like the finances.
You're on your own.
You know?
Yeah, man. You're on your own. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You have people just guiding you, and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when I work, I created that lane, just helping the gyms, helping the fighters.
Yeah.
And like,
so what is that? Do you have something set up for that? Like, is it through the credit union that you're doing it with?
Yeah.
Is there something specific on the side?
So what happened was, during COVID, I was traveling, helping companies with their employees. It was like it was a credit union concierge. So I'd go to different companies all over the U.S., help their employees with whatever they need. I had a budget for it just to bring in business, but just, help the employees out. With COVID, I can't travel, or you can travel, but you can't go into the business anymore because the employees. So I had to pivot, and my job is to bring in business into the credit union. But I have tools and resources within marketing to get it done at a higher level. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure it out, and I'm just working out one day with Christos. I was at Systems, and Marcus referred me. So I've known Marcus for years, and I helped him with his business accounts too when I was at Chase across the street.
Cool.
And he's like, somebody needed help with something. It was very organic, and I was working out, and they're like, oh, Jose will help you. And that's always a thing. Like, and then I would just be happy to help him. And then I was like, damn. How could I do something where I could just like help people, or these are employees, let me just figure that out here.
Yeah.
And then I said, how could I just reverse stuff? And my boss is like, do whatever you want. Like I'm having golf balls made with QRC codes where you scan it and it has my business card. So I'm doing this golf tournament with this dude that works at the Dr. Phil show. I met him on an airplane. I'm sponsoring one of his things where I'm going to just leave golf balls all over the floor, and it's going to have my freaking little.
No way.
Yeah, bro. I'm getting like co-branded T-shirts made with Systems Training Center.
Sick.
It was like I did this health is wealth, which is like my other tagline there, and then earn, burn, repeat, and just things like that, just to mix fitness and health together and incorporating my job with it. Think about right now. Mm-hmm. Where do you go to the bank? At home on your phone.
Yeah.
Where do you go to the gym? Yoga at home.
Yeah.
Everything podcast at home.
Yeah.
So you're right. So then they're gonna all kind of do that and work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
saves money, and it's just kind of like, it makes sense, right? And it's kind of like, they say, I'm reading a book right now, it's called Bachelor Pad Economics, and one thing they said is like, in the future, what, they don't think that just the banker is going to be valued. It's going to be like, no, the banker that's an MMA fighter, that's a podcast host, and is a nutritionist. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's going to be more valued in rather than like just the banker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, what else? Because we have so much information now in where that's possible. Like you can do that. Like for example, right now, like for me, it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm training these clients, I do MMA, and then I still work at the firm, like computers, and then I have a podcast. And it's like, I still sleep at night. Like, I still have a social life. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody has 24 hours. Everyone's what you do with them.
It's almost like if you just have one thing to do.
Right.
It's like, dude, you got time to do other things.
Yep.
Like, unless you're like a lawyer working like 14, 15-hour days, like I understand, or a doctor. But it's like, if you just have a 9 to 5, you got time to do other stuff, dude.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's where the future's headed. Like, you can't just have.
You know where else the future's headed? Think about this. Like, I was talking to my buddy the other day where, like, every month I told my boss, why do I get $100 stipend on my paycheck? He said, well, that's for your cell phone. I'm like, well, why do you pay that for me? It's because it's your personal phone and you're using it for business. Makes sense, right? Why do you guys reimburse me for my gas? Excuse me. Like, because it's your car, you're driving it. I'm like, so don't you think that me using my home 40 hours a week as an office is way bigger, on a way bigger scale than that? And she's cool. Like, obviously it's bigger than her pay grade, but I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Companies are going to start paying employees a little more to use their home because the companies are not renewing their leases anymore because they're all working from home.
Yeah, they're all working from home.
So they're saving that overhead.
Dude, I didn't think about that.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, think about that. Like, why do I have to use my home as a why do I have to use my home as an office and I get paid for it? Like, I have dual screens at home, bro. I have a chair. I have my thing. It's like, what if I'm not set up for that? What if I live with 18 people and I'm not in that place yet, but I work here.
Wow. Yeah. They say the traditional office is like about to die.
We're living our new 80 from people 80 years ahead of us.
They say that there's this I don't want to butcher this, but they say if you took someone from 100 years ago and you put them in the middle of like downtown LA or like Manhattan somewhere, right? And they looked around, they would die of information overload.
Oh, it's too much.
You know what I'm saying?
Simplicity is gone.
So you know what they're saying now? I don't want to quote this 100%, but I'm pretty sure this is the right number. That if you take someone 20 years in the future, or if you took someone now and put them 20 years in the future from now, they would die of information. Because
that's how much
overload.
We're just really.
That's how fast we're going. That's how fast.
And now we're going even faster because of what's going on since March.
Yeah,
we're fast tracking now.
So like, and back then in 20 years, like take someone in 5 years, then it's be like, dude, what is going on? You know, like. Literally so much information, so much change that your brain couldn't handle it. If it was instant, obviously.
Right.
But it's like so insane to me how like
crazy
80 years, like we've come that like fast and how things are changing so rapidly, you know? Like this, I think about it, it's so trippy. Like the iPhone, right? Like smartphones and technology. Like that didn't really blow up until like 10 years ago.
Computers 2000. The email came out in 2000, bro. That's weird,
dude. Like it's wild. It feels like it's been here forever, but it's like not that long.
No. And when you were in high school, bro, you had to have game to talk to a chick, right?
Yeah.
Like you had to go up to her. Now you just text.
Yeah, dude.
Like think about that. You know?
I mean, you were still texting my eyes. Like how old do you think I am?
You're 26.
No.
Older?
I'm 24.
24.
But it's like so I was still texting. We were still texting in high school, like, you know. But it's
like, you were. Oh shit, no.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, you are old, sir.
No, but it's like pretty.
I didn't,
wild.
bro. Like I couldn't.
That's wild,
the pagers barely. When I was at CVS, I had the big ass phones. I had to put minutes. Like damn.
Yeah, dude.
Like girl, I called you when I had 2 minutes left. You know I was real. You know?
Bro. It was wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the way things are changing, it's almost like it's scary, but like beautiful at the same time. It's like that's just the way humans progress.
You're experiencing it. Yeah, it's life. So you just go with it, man, and just make the best. Stop making excuses. Just move forward.
How do you feel about nowadays? There's this big idea on capitalism. You know, how do you feel about there's this animosity towards it in that way of economics and how it's like it's a very oppressive system, in how America runs its America's relationship to money.
Like the rich is getting richer than the poor. Like
Yeah,
there's not even no middleman.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel like right now, man, there's not gonna be like no. It's like either you're super rich or you're super poor. The way everything's going, you don't
Really?
think? I mean, look how.
No,
the
I know
economy's
it's
going.
true, but do you think that that is a way of? Do you think that's a route that is sustainable?
No, something's got to give, man. I
Really?
mean, yeah,
You think so?
yeah. I mean, like,
Just the way money works.
I think so. I mean, it's just the thing is we don't know. We don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like we're going through the system. Like there's these. I feel like people running the world. We don't even know what the hell's going on, bro. Like
Yeah.
with gas prices, with the stock market, with real estate, with everything, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
Like who really is running the show? You know what I mean?
I think that's
And not to get too deep into that, but I'm just saying, like, I'm very open-minded about stuff, bro. And like now that I've seen so many things come to fruition, it's like, damn, what do we not know, kind of deal.
Well, I don't think we know. I truly believe that they only want us to know what they choose to let us know.
Of course.
And it's like, and I think that's what freaks me out is that like, man, everything that's put out,
We're
they
powerless,
know.
bro. We don't even know.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where people have this, like, and I think those are the people that are like super rich. And those are the people that are so smart and have so much power. Like, think about it, man. Like, whatever you put out on Twitter, whatever you put out on YouTube, whatever you put out on Google, whatever you put out on CNN, Fox, that's what's going to gain traction, right?
Yep.
And you got these, isn't it like what? Only like 7 companies like run the world kind of thing?
Yeah. It's like they monopolize everything.
It's wild. And just to say, like, you know, the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, it's kind of like, and they feed you like these false narratives and stuff in regards to like how, you know, it's good, how it's bad and all that. And it's like, what do you do?
What do you like? The reason I say the rich getting rich, because it's like, bro, like look at all the small businesses are closing down, right?
Yeah.
So the 10 or 15% of the population that's rich is taking advantage of the adversity of the people that are losing their businesses right now.
Yeah.
Because they have the capital. So like they're buying all these businesses and things like that, pennies in the dollar. Like going back to our other point,
Wow.
where like they're like, damn, like how much was that lease in February of this year? Oh, $5,000. How much is it right now? 2,600. How much is it worth? 500. How much is it worth now? 350. Like people just have $1 million to just spend, and they're gonna just take them all out and do whatever the heck they want with it. And people that's people's hard-earned money, man. That's happening all over the country right now.
You think shit's gonna break? You think some shit's gonna give?
I think people are gonna get in worse debt, bro. Think about this. People are at home with their phones, with their debit or credit cards attached to Amazon, with all these sales, right? Spending, shopping, working from home, drinking from home, because they're not going anywhere. Like, bro, like it's happening.
What is some financial advice you would give to someone during COVID who, let's just say a small business owner, right, who lost their small business? What would you tell someone who is like just going through something like that, and you're just like,
well, that's the part that's scary. What do you tell them, bro?
Like I think, well, the reason I asked you that question is because you, as a financial expert, should say like, all right, man, for sure don't do this. Like for sure don't borrow this kind of money. For sure don't get this kind of loan. Like,
no, it even scale it back at a remedial level, bro. For sure don't buy stuff you don't need. Like think about this, Black Friday, right? They go, you're saving. Oh, this TV was $300. You're saving $100. It's $200. Am I though? Mm-hmm. If I'm really saving, the definition of saving is you're actually putting something somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm saving, that means that I'm putting $100 in my savings account. No, you're not saving. You're just paying $100 less. So
exactly.
So you're still spending $200.
Yes, exactly. No, I've heard that. And
so
also,
that's happening all over the U.S. right now.
Yeah, that's so true. One thing I've heard also is advice that's helped me in regards to big purchases. Like, if you can't buy 5 of them, you can't buy 1.
Yeah.
And like that's helped me a lot. And it's kind of true, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, if you have $1,000 and you have a camera that you want to buy for $500, it's like, okay.
Needs or wants. Yeah.
You still spent $500, and you pretty much what that taught me is like you can't afford it.
You're not saving. So if they say, oh, that camera Black Friday, it was $500. Now you're getting it for $380. It's like you're saving $100. Like, no, I'm not saving anything. I'm still spending $380.
Just the way they sell it.
But that's what I'm saying. So when you're saying what advice, small business owners or anybody, it's like, don't right now save your money, man. Like that's why. So when I go and help people, simple. Like I was at Systems Training Center. I opened up savings accounts for everybody. I gave them $50 cash and said, hey, look, here's a direct deposit form. Go to your job, and every paycheck, put how much you get paid. What every week? I'm like, put $100 every week away. or $25. That's $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just start saving, save.
Yeah.
Because business owners it's tough right now, man. Like, I feel sorry they do like those PPP loans, those payroll protection program loans.
Yeah, I heard those are sketch.
They're sketch because a lot of the business owners too, like, they're taking the money, but they're not using it for payroll. They're letting their employees go and they're keeping the money. But then again, people hate on that. But it's like, dude, you don't know, because that person may have all this debt where they're like, hey, this is an opportunity for me to like pay for this so I could stay open in 6 months.
Yeah.
So let me get rid of my staff. But people are saying, oh, you're firing people or whatever, which it sucks. But like, I see the other side of it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure, man. There's so much that goes into it, and I feel like we got a lot.
Yeah, man.
In this, and the knowledge that you
Yeah,
brought,
really got
I'm super
financial, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But I'm super appreciative of it.
Yeah.
And dude, Jose, that was really good.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
No problem, brother. Boom. Jose Rubio.